SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
Whether you're looking to start a career with no student loans or change careers to land one of the happiest jobs in the world, yep, that's construction, Build Mississippi can help. Visit buildmississippi.com to learn why a career in the trades deserves another look. Buildmississippi.com. Your future is waiting.
This is Gerard Gibert, and thank you for listening to MidDays here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
MidDays with Gerard Gibert is on the air. MidDays with Gerard Gibert is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. Get ready to go beyond the headlines and join a meaningful conversation with people from around the state. You're listening to MidDays with Gerard Gibert here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Good morning on a Thursday morning, and a beautiful Thursday morning it is here at the Trade Mart, right next to the Coliseum for the 60th annual Dixie National Rodeo. You gotta like those big round numbers, and we have here with us, we're starting as we broadcast from here today with one of my favorite people to have on the air, Mike McCormick. He's the president of the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. It's a big day for you guys too, isn't it, Mike?
Oh, it is. It's our day that we get to share the spotlight and celebrate what all of our farm kids have done this past year. They're just walking down the hall with smiles as big as Texas on their faces. It's a great day, one of my favorite days of the year.
Well, you know, I watch as I look around, and I see every time I'm here, I see exactly what you're talking about. There's so much pride. But the thing that really strikes me is you can tell that it's earned pride. They've put a lot of work into being proud to be here today.
These kids are being taught the right way. They know how to get up in the morning before school and take care of their animals. They come home in the afternoons with a list of chores to do to work with them to make sure that they have a chance to make it all the way through to here, which is the top of the top. It's the best of the best, and that's what they're all shooting for, and they learn a lot of valuable lessons about life along the way.
Well, and they learn a lot of lessons here, too, because this is not the award ceremony of champions. It is the sale of champions. So now they get a definite lesson in the tangible results of hard work. They see what it brings you.
And we're a proud participant of this program because all of this money goes to their scholarships. Farm Bureau is in all 82 counties of the state, so we've got offices that are pulling for a lot of their kids and wanting us to help them with scholarships today. So we'll be in there celebrating their achievements and being a big part of this today.
Let me guess. You've gotten calls from all 82 of those going, hey, keep an eye on so-and-so.
We probably have gotten calls from most of them, that's true. And we can't do all of them. We do the best we can do. And that's the good thing about the Sale of Champions is we have a committee, and we meet beforehand to make sure that everyone's covered and that we've got somebody in a bidders group that's going to come in and help reward these kids for this tremendous amount of hard work they put through.
Now, how much is raised in this, going to scholarships, as you said, each year, just roughly? I know you don't know the number off the top of your head.
It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I should know that number. I think we break a record just about every year, getting close to $500,000, I think.
Wow. That's a lot of money that's going to help these kids moving forward in the future. If I learn one thing every time I'm here, it's this. I need a new hat because I look around and everybody is so sharp in here.
Well, it's kind of cool to be a farm kid right now, especially on this side of things. So they're always representing us well.
Well, you know, this is an event that has a lot of meaning beyond what it means to the kids as far as they know, as far as they think about it. Because for a lot of them, this is their prom.
Yep.
Every year.
That is true.
But it is teaching those lessons that we were talking about. And I think it's so great that the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation is involved in this, because this, to me, 60 years, this exemplifies a lesson we've got to get back to, which is you concentrate on the basics and most of the rest of the stuff sorts itself out.
You start working with kids at a young age and teaching them work ethic, and they keep that the rest of their lives. I think you learn something like that early along the way. You can't wait till they are out of high school into college and expect them to have the work ethic that's going to make them successful in life. So this is something that they can do to learn all those skills and be competitive with it among their peers. And I think you will see a lot of the people here today as leaders in their communities, leaders in our state, maybe even leaders nationally before this is over with. This is the cream of the crop.
Well, and that's the other thing that I think sometimes falls by the wayside. We talk about it, but I still think some people don't have the full realization of just how big the Dixie National Rodeo in general is. It's one of the top events in the country every year.
And we are intent on even making it even bigger. So we're always looking for other people's bring in. We're looking for different kids that we can mentor to bring into the program. So I think we've got a long history, but a bright future.
Speaking of bright futures, the legislature's in session. How are you feeling right now? How's your mood?
Well, we made it past committee deadlines on Tuesday, and we survived it. We've got a few bills that we're tracking and working on hard, and our legislature, I couldn't be more complimentary of them. From our standpoint, they're always so helpful with farm issues, and they get it and they understand it. So we're in pretty good shape up there. It's a few things that we've got to work on to try to get to the other side, but it's a long session. We've got a long way to go, but right now I think everybody's still in good shape.
So far, so good. All we can do is hope that the good things go through and the bad things don't, right?
I see it.
And
we do a lot of killing bad bills behind the scenes, and that may go on more than people know, and things that are well intended may come out with some unintended consequences, and you got to point that out and say, I understand, but this is how it's going to impact us over here. So sometimes the most important work you can do is talk somebody into maybe letting one of their bills die.
Well, and that's the thing, and I think you put that perfectly. It's not that anyone has ill intentions or trying to do something bad or evil. There's just an aspect they might not be aware of or hadn't thought of that you have to bring to their attention.
That's exactly right. It's the unintended consequences that you got to look at to see how it stretches across everyone whenever it's implemented. And sometimes it's a situation where we can just take it back to committee and work on it a little more, and sometimes we have to wait till next year, or sometimes we just can't be for it altogether. So it's a process, and the legislators are very aware of it, and they know how to deal with it and do a great job with it. We've got, again, a lot of friends on the Senate and House side up there working for us.
Well, now you've got no one to hold them, no one to fold them going through my mind, because that's basically the process, isn't it?
That's the process, and they all understand, and they're good at working their bills with their counterparts, but they're also always willing to work with Farm Bureau on things that have impact to us.
Well, let me ask you this. We talked about this very briefly on the air, and we're not going to we don't have a ton of time, but just very quickly, we could see some impacts in the near future from things going on in Washington right now, couldn't we?
Well, farm community's pretty concerned about the tariffs. Right now, this week, it looks like everything went okay. We pushed off the conversations that we were having with Mexico and Canada for another month, and the commodity markets didn't take a big spike one way or the other during those conversations, but that will have a big impact, and just the reorganization and relearning all of the people that we deal with on the federal level at those top positions. We're up there pretty regular. I'll have somebody there this week, next week, and then I'll be there the next week going through the process of making sure we know the right people in the right places. So when our farmers have an issue, we have a seat at the table that we can go in and talk to them about trying to get something done.
Would you think it would be fair to say that a lot of what the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation does is kind of behind the scenes work?
Yeah, I hear people all the time tell me we didn't know Farm Bureau did that, and I think that's probably the best way to do that, is just try to stay behind the scenes and work with our delegation and the people that we work with through the agencies to address small concerns or big concerns. And again, even in Washington, D.C., I think ag issues is the last thing up there that can be worked on in a bipartisan manner. We probably don't agree on all issues with either side, so they both come to the table generally on ag issues and work with us. Farm Bill's got to be a top priority. Coming up, we're way behind. It's way outdated. It's not working. We had to get some ad hoc disaster assistance last year because of where we are and how outdated the Farm Bill is. So that's definitely something we'll have to work bipartisan with, because there won't be enough votes on either side of the aisle to go one way or the other.
Mike McCormick, president of the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. Tickled to be here, tickled for your help getting us over here, and your help for all of these kids and all of these families, because it impacts more than just the kid. It impacts the family too and helps them move forward. I guess what I'm trying to say is, Mike, good job just all around in general.
We're just excited to be part of it. There's a lot of great groups in the Sale of Champion that's going to come forward today and reward these kids. Farm Bureau is definitely going to be one of those. Again, it's just so many smiles walking around here. Great farm families here, and we love to support them.
I've seen your eyes cutting into the room where they're eating, so we're going to let you go. We will continue live from the Trade Mart at the Sale of Champions on SuperTalk Mississippi right after this.
Thank you, Dave.
This segment of Middays with Gerard Gibert is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Middays with Gerard Gibert.
Let's do this.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Let's go.
Welcome back. Middays on SuperTalk Mississippi. Dave Hughes here, and I think this song is a perfect intro to the next person we're chatting with. If you could describe Cliff Mitchell and his relationship with the Sale of Champions and the Dixie National Rodeo, I believe Like It, Love It, Want Some More of It would just about cover it, wouldn't
Absolutely,
it, Cliff?
absolutely.
Cliff, the managing partner at Gray Daniels, thanks for being with us and having us out here. And you've got a strong, long-time connection with all of this going on, don't you?
Absolutely. I've been involved with the Sale of Champions back since 1983. And then back, I guess, in it was right around 2001, I became a member of the board of the Dixie National Sale of Champions. And so been involved with it pretty much all my life. But just glad to be a part of it. I'm a past chairman of the Dixie National Sale of Champions Committee. So I've helped raise a lot of money for this, and it's just such a worthwhile cause.
Well, and that is one thing that we don't really talk about very often, but I do want to ask you very quickly just how much work goes into getting this thing together every year.
Well, it's a lot of work. We probably have 6 to 8 meetings over the course of a year as far as the board members, but we spend a lot of time out raising funds for this. So we talk to a lot of businesses, and we go out and we sit with these business owners and explain why support the Sale of Champions. Why do we need to be a part of it? And so that takes a lot of time as far as a committee member to go out and raise these funds. And I know that Kelly, our chairman, has set forth a goal of $500,000 today, which would be a record sale. So you got to go visit a lot of businesses and ask a lot of people to give money, but such a worthwhile cause.
Well, and I was talking with Mike McCormick right before you came on. about how important this is to the kids that are participating today, because it teaches so many great life lessons that are going to be with them the rest of their life.
Well, sure. I mean, these young men and women, I don't want to call them children, they get up every morning, they clean stalls, they feed their animals, they work with their animals, then they get ready to go to school, and then they spend all day in school, and then some of them play baseball, football, cheerleader, band. They do those things. Then they come home, and they do homework, and then they clean stalls, feed animals, work with their animals, and go to bed and get up and do it all over again. It kind of reminds me of my life at work every day, you know? I mean, so these are the kind of kids we want running our country one day, because they understand what it takes, the hard work that it takes to get where you want to be. And these kids have worked so hard to get to this sale. And then to turn around now, it's going to give back to them, because they're going to have the opportunity to go to college off of the money they earn from the sale, or from the scholarships that we actually give also.
Well, and that's, to me, one of the most important parts of the process, because all the rest of it, teaching them about the hard work and about what it takes to become a success. They're not handing out participation trophies for life.
Absolutely.
So, you know, they learn that, but then this lets them see a tangible result. This lets them have that rush of becoming a success in front of everyone and feeling that. That's huge to me.
You know, we always talk about the fruits of your labor. Well, these young men and women understand the fruits of their labor, and they're going to get to see it today as they sell their animals. Now, you know, it's a catch-22 with these guys today, because they've spent a lot of time getting attached to these animals and loving on these animals and working with them and get them ready for show, and they spend as much time with them as they do their family. These animals actually become part of their family, and then today they hit the sale and they part with their animal. And so it's mixed emotions for a lot of them, but we heard somebody talk about it at the governor's mansion last night, but how will that animal now go to help other people? So it's not only helping them make it to college and whatever choice that they want to do as far as continuing their education, but then it also helps other people as the animal moves on. They're even used for judging again and teaching other students to come in here and be FFA leaders and 4-H leaders. So just it's the gift that keeps giving.
Do you ever see some tears after the sale is done from some of these kids? Yeah,
yes,
I'll bet.
You do.
You would have to.
But that's because they're attached. And that's that human emotion that's in there too, and I think we all have emotions within our jobs. You know, I would imagine with talk radio, you'll have emotions within your job, and I think kind of the same thing here.
Now, of course, this is just part of the overall Dixie National Rodeo experience, I guess you would say, which has been going forever. And is one, and I was talking to Mike about this, let me get your opinion as someone who's been involved with this whole process for a while. This is one of the biggest events of its kind in the entire country, isn't it?
Sure. So you've got the Dixie National itself, and it encompasses so many different horse shows, the livestock shows for the Dixie National Sale of Champions, and then the rodeo itself. So you've got the largest rodeo east of the Mississippi. It's in one of the top 60 rodeos in the nation. So when you come out to the rodeo, you'll see pro cowboys from all over the country and the world that are competing nationally. These are the same guys that if you watch the National Finals Rodeo in December on TV or went out there, then these are the same guys you're seeing here at Jackson, because this is a money rodeo for them as they accumulate for the year.
What? I'm just curious now. What do the prizes look like that these guys are riding for in here?
Oh, so probably here it's in excess. The total purse package is in excess of $1 million that they're going for. So and I'm sure that you'll probably have Rory on here, Rory Lemmel with the rodeo company, and he can give you an exact figure of that. But these guys they're hauling here, and they're going between here and San Antonio, and they've got to haul trailers. And another reason that we're part of this. First of all, we think the Sale of Champions is a good part, but as Ford hasn't been in this arena until last year, since 1983. And so we're glad to be back, and we're glad to have Ford Motor Company be a part of this and have our trucks on showcase out here. And because the guys pulling those trailers up and down the road with their horses and the ladies in the barrel racing, the calf ropers, they have to have a truck to pull it, and there's a lot of Ford trucks pulling trailers and horses from rodeo to rodeo around America today.
And that's one of the things that sometimes also doesn't get much attention because, the rodeo is important. What you do here is important. Everything, every piece of this is a big deal, but you got to get there.
Exactly. And this is not like pro football where you've got somebody who arranges for the team to get on a plane and fly to New Orleans this weekend, right, for the Super Bowl. This is you getting from place to place on your own and competing on your own. It's really not a team sport. So it's what I do. It's back to what we talked about, the fruits of the labor that we see from the Dixie National Sale of Champions. It's the same thing with these guys too, and they're hauling up and down the road every day out of their pocketbooks to win money.
Yeah, there's not a big traffic in airline rodeo travel.
No, your bull riders and bareback riders, they can get by because they can fly places. Everybody else needs a horse. They don't let those on American Airlines or Delta. So
no, they get real picky at the gate when you try to walk the horse on.
Yeah, they have problems with dogs a lot, but the horses not so much.
Well, this is a fantastic thing going on today, as I've said, and I love watching the faces of the young people as they walk by because it is, to me, the most. I'm a people watcher. I don't know about you. I love watching people. And every time I'm here, I sit here and I just watch. And it's such an interesting mixture of excitement, happiness, pride, and gut-wrenching fear in some of the, all layered in together.
All layered in there. So, and it's just been accumulating all year long. And today is the day that it comes down to the sale. And so, you're right. A lot of excitement and a lot of mixed emotions.
But it will pay off for these kids, and it'll pay off in the future. And I assume we're just going to keep doing this moving forward. Right?
Absolutely. So I know we have one of our committee members that's retiring this year, and he's been doing this for over 50 years. And so he's seen a lot of these kids. In fact, Kelly, that's our chairman, she came up through this, and now she works for Regions Bank, and she's part of this as a committee, but she came and earned her way through college doing this same thing. So it's just amazing how it just keeps growing, and after us, there'll be more people that keep doing this.
Cliff Mitchell, managing partner of Gray Daniels, and a big piece of everything moving around here today at the Trade Mart with the Sale of Champions. Enjoyed it, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
You come on back anytime.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will continue on SuperTalk Mississippi live from the Trade Mart on Middays right after this. Keep it here.
I'm on air and online at supertalk.fm. Talk Mississippi.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Welcome back. SuperTalk Mississippi Middays live at the Trade Mart. Right here next to the Coliseum for the Sale of Champions. And we have with us now the president-elect of a group that's connected in a big way with this, Mississippi 4-H, and that's President-elect Morgan White. We have to use your title. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you look like you're just pumped up and ready to go here.
I am.
Now, let me ask you this. When do you officially take office?
I will take office for president in May.
Okay, so you got a little time.
Yeah, because the president-elect will, I got elected in May, and then I kind of followed the for a year, and then I'll take office as president in May.
Okay, fantastic. What does the president of Mississippi 4-H do?
So we go and we do a lot of speeches and get to talk to our legislators and just get to go around the state and support 4-H.
So a lot of traveling.
Yes.
A lot of talking.
Yes.
A lot of shaking hands.
A lot.
Yeah, all of that kind of fun stuff. But it's rewarding. And, you're here. I'm sure you've got a lot of Mississippi 4-H members from all over the state involved in the Sale of Champions.
Oh, we do. There's a lot.
Now, does 4-H specifically do anything to assist them, to help them, or is it just more kind of a general support?
Well, we also do the scholarships, and we give out a lot of those. And then of course, the sale helps a lot because, it's through 4-H and all that. But then we also give them for, all friends and whatever, because it's a big, we all support each other. So it's a neat experience.
Now, how did you get involved in 4-H?
Well, my mom was an extension agent before I was born and then when I was little. And so I've kind of always been in it. And then when I turned 8, I started showing all the time and I've pretty much shown everything.
Well, let me ask you that because it's a great perspective for us to have, because I've been talking with other people here about the looks on the faces of the young people as they come through. It's a mixture of excitement and terror. Tell us a little bit about that experience of showing.
I guess, for me, it's I've always done it. So, I've done, and, the market animals are a little different because you only have them for a certain amount of time. And it's a little weird, but because you get close to them and all that, and you do well with them a lot of times, and then, you have to get rid of them a lot of times. But it's a lot of fun. And you get to know a lot of people and get to connections and get to keep your, all your breeding animals is really cool, which is mainly what I do right now. So
you deal with the breeders at the moment.
I do breeding animals, so I get to bring them home and they get to raise babies, and so it's really cool.
Let me get this straight. You worked it around to where you get to play with baby animals all day.
I try to, but
That is a hard life, Morgan, I'll tell you. That's great. That is fantastic. Now, the thing about this that we have been talking about as well that I want to get your take on, off the top of your head, what are some lessons that you learn when you go through this process and you start with one of those baby animals that you're talking about and get them all the way to this point to show? What all do you learn doing that?
I guess you learn responsibility a lot of times because I got to go feed twice a day. I got to work them at least once a day, and especially with the hair animals, you have to, work their hair and make sure they're walking right and all of that. And so it's really cool to see that and, figure out how to do that. And then through 4-H, I've learned, how to speak to people. Communication is a big thing for me because I'm much introvert. And it's been really cool to see me come out of my box.
Well, and that's a secret to life. You can pretend to be an extrovert. You could put on the show and then go hide in the closet as soon as you're done. That's acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. Because from everything I can see and sitting here talking to you, you're doing a fantastic job. You are. Now, are you president for a year?
Yes.
Will be your term?
Yes.
And then what happens after that?
Well, I'll age out of 4-H when I get when I age out of 4-H president. So it's kind of neat that I'll just be done. And I'll get to go and do other associations and all that.
Going out on top. I like that. That's a good life plan. That's very good. Now, moving forward, and I know there are some people that are participating in the Sale of Champions. This is definitely true for some that it's not. Are you going to continue in this path in your life in terms of dealing with animals and working with animals this way?
Oh, definitely. So I'm in the GERD Association, which is the Santa Gertrudis right now, and I can show with them till I'm 21. And I love that association. It is a great association. And so I'll get to go to do junior nationals till then, and then I can do open shows after that. So I can do that pretty much the rest of my life.
And something tells me you're probably going to.
Oh, definitely.
I do. I'm sorry, I'm a city boy, so you're going to have to educate me on something here, because you mentioned something just a minute ago, and I want to go back to it. What is a hair animal?
So a hair animal, so like all the lambs don't have hair, all that. But like with cows, you can either slick them, because like the Gerts, with them, you have to like slick them because that's just their breed character. But with like Angus, you have to have, they're a hair animal, and so they have hair and they grow hair really easy, and that's just how their environment that they want to live in and all that. So.
And I assume you have to keep it brushed out and keep it untangled and all. That's a full-time job.
It is.
Good God. How do you have time for anything else?
I make time, I guess.
Yeah, that's about all you can do. Do you, at this point, do you mainly deal with the larger animals? Do you do anything with goats or anything?
I do lambs.
Lambs, okay.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've done them since I was like 10 or something. I don't know. I did goats before them, but I've done lambs, and for me, it's really natural to do, like, to show a lamb. And so it's weird because with the cows, like, it's not natural and I have to work on it. But the lambs is like, I can not work on them and they're still fine with me.
Well, a little more manageable.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I think it's partially because a lamb can't step on you and squish you.
Yes.
It gives the cow a slightly different perspective on
Oh, it does.
But that's okay. That's part of the skills that you learn here. And even those skills apply as you move on in life, because you're going to run up on things and people and situations that don't want to go the way you want them to go.
Oh, definitely.
And you've got to figure out how to make it happen. Biggest challenge of being the president of 4-H?
For me, it's probably speaking in front of people, like, just because it's not natural to me, and just get out of my box and just talking to random people and getting to know them and all that.
The more you do it, the easier it gets.
It's getting easier as it goes on.
And that's the thing with anything, including what they do here with the animals. The more you do it, the easier it gets, because you start learning the little tricks and you start getting comfortable with it, and it just makes it a lot simpler to do that. Talking about the animals and what these kids are going through and what they're doing, is it a fair statement to you, because you're in the middle of this, is it a fair statement to say that this is where a lot of the future farmers and ranchers are coming from?
Oh, definitely. Between FFA and 4-H, like, we're shaping like those kids, and like, even if you're not in the livestock area, we're still like, because 4-H has so many different opportunities. Like, we have STEM, which is like robotics and all that, and we're still doing all the, for it. So it's definitely doing our farmers for the tomorrow. I
believe Morgan just confirmed for us they're coming up with robot cows. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not.
How do robotics play into this?
Well, like with robotics, like, all the drones and all that. So, like, they can go look at the fields and, like, check on cows without even being there and not having to go, like, personally check on them. And you can just send the drone or something like that.
Sit in your recliner.
Yes.
With a nice cold drink and just the air conditioner and the fan going, and just look over the herd. That's one thing that I'm sorry, most people have this rock solid picture in their head of what all of this is like. It's not that way, but you don't start out with drones. That's not how you learn the business, is it?
No, it is not. You have to do the hard work and then do the easy stuff.
Yeah, you got to do it yourself before you can build up to that level, but it's nice to know that level is there, because it gives you a goal to shoot for. Kind of like what's happening today with the Sale of Champions. They're going to let you bang the gavel at some point or something?
I don't know if I'm doing it today.
Okay, but you are going to get to do it.
Probably at some point.
Okay. If not, let me know. We'll have a word with people.
Okay.
You need some gavel banging experience. We got to completely round you out. It's Morgan White, the president-elect of Mississippi 4-H. A huge part of this event, the Sale of Champions. And let me tell you, let us know whenever you decide down the road to run for office, because I can see it in you. You got it. You're a superstar waiting to happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You got to learn to take a compliment. I stink at that, by the way, just to let you know. Morgan, always enjoy having a good guest, and you are definitely in that list, so thank you.
Thank you.
You go have fun. We will continue from the Trade Mart and the Sale of Champions, the 60th annual Dixie National Rodeo going on this week, and we will continue from here right after this on Super Talk Mississippi on Middays.
Middays with Gerard Gibert.
Keep rolling. 3, 2, 1.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave. And it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm a-doing alright. Yeah, I think I'll make me some homemade soup. Feeling pretty good, and that's the
Welcome back. Super Talk Mississippi, the Element Wealth mobile studio. It travels is set up here and live at the Trade Mart on the grounds of the Coliseum here in Jackson for the 60th annual Junior Sale of Champions. It really is a great event. This is a people watcher's paradise. It really is. I was talking about that earlier with Cliff. It's a lot of fun to watch the people and look at the emotions and the expressions going on. Coming up after the top of the hour, we'll have Super Talk Mississippi News, Fox News, and then Agriculture Commissioner Andy Gibson, who just blew through here just a minute ago and said, Dave, I'll be back in a minute. Can't tell you the last time I saw that man without a cup of coffee in his hand. That's because he never stops, but we'll get to him in a minute. Right now, while we got a chance, it's been busy and it's going to continue to be busy for a bit here. Got to say hi to my buddy Rhino. How you doing, man?
Howdy.
How's life treating you?
Oh, not too terribly bad. We're almost to Friday.
Well, let me ask you, if it's just me, are you almost, and I didn't think this was possible for me, are you almost getting overwhelmed with the amount of stuff to keep up with that's going on?
Just about. I feel like I'm juggling and trying to keep plates spinning at the same time.
Yes, and the plates and what you're juggling are both on fire. That's what it feels like to me. The whole thing with Doge, I am thoroughly enjoying watching that play out, especially as some of the stuff comes out. And I got to send you a link because I have some audio I want to use tomorrow, because we're doing this again tomorrow here on Middays. Johnny Carson had President Ronald Reagan before he was President Reagan on The Tonight Show in 1975. He had just finished up as governor of California, wasn't running for president. And we need to look at some of that audio tomorrow, because you just close your eyes and listen and you think he's talking about right now with Doge and everything else as far as the ridiculous expenditures. None of this is new. What's new is we're finally talking about it.
Yeah, and the problem with a lot of the attention being paid to it, especially the U.S. aid stuff, is now, because there is so much attention, you've got engagement farmers or potentially bad actors from other countries, but I don't have any evidence of that. It just feels that way.
Yeah.
That are just making stuff up. Like, there's enough nonsense that is in need of investigation and in need of being spotlighted and shamed out of existence. But that doesn't mean you just have to make stuff up. Like the reports going around that various Hollywood actors were paid millions of dollars to visit Ukraine. First off, the red flag for me in that story is the money they're throwing around, the figures they're throwing around. That would have attracted a whole lot more Hollywood types to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of the, dozen that did it?
I'm sorry. If Ben Stiller could command $4 million for one trip, there would be a line of people waiting. That would turn into its own cottage industry. So, yeah.
You'd have the Hollywood studios fighting over who got to go next.
Yes. And we would have seen... No insult to Ben Stiller, but we would have seen some higher level people involved too, Hollywood-wise. I'm not trying to criticize him, like Ben Stiller's work, but come on, he's not exactly the top of the A-list Let's put it like that.
Especially when you have real issues like, I don't know, the BBC's budget being 8% American tax dollars.
And that, by the way, here's my favorite part about that. I'm sure you saw this. That came out, and the USAID had been spending money with the BBC. The BBC put out its own statement. That's where that 8% figure comes from. It self-admitted that the USAID money coming from America was 8% of the BBC's budget. Holy cow. Why? Why? I'm sorry. Actually, now that I think about it, as you are well aware, I'm a big Doctor Who fan.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, did it go off a cliff about 4 or 5 years ago, which now suddenly makes so much sense because it went woke. It did. That has been a major complaint about that show, is that it really went into the woke leftist political agenda area. And now I think maybe we know why, because it was at least partially being funded by USAID. Sometimes you just got to go in and knock the whole building down and start over. And I think that's what's going to wind up happening to some extent or another here. Coming up, we have Fox News, we have SuperTalk Mississippi News, and we have Commissioner Andy Gibson coming to join us here on Middays in the mobile Element Wealth Studios at the Trade Mart at the National Sale of Champions. We'll do that after the news next on Super Talk Mississippi. Keep it here.
As a clock, doing a little thing called a hillbilly rock. Doing a little thing called the hillbilly rock. Doing a little thing called the hillbilly rock.
More of Middays with Gerard Gibert is brought to you by the Mississippi Business Journal. Visit msbusinessjournal.com. Scott Coopwood, publisher. And now, another hour of the talk that keeps Mississippi talking. Middays with Gerard Gibert.
Begin your transition now.
Now on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back. Middays live at the trade. Sorry, I got involved in a conversation over there. I was talking with Representative Bill Pygott, who's going to be on with us in about an hour. He'll be here. I talked about Andy Gibson, the Commissioner of Agriculture, being with us. He has been delayed a little bit because, as you can expect with this kind of event, he's a busy guy, and he's down there speaking, I believe, at the start of the Sale of Champions here. So he's going to join us in the next segment. That's our plan as it stands right now. Subject to change, because when you take the Element Wealth studio and you mount the wheels on the bottom of it and you push it out the door down the hill, you never know where it's going to go before we wind up, but that's okay. Sale of Champions, a lot of people here. A lot of the dining is over, and they have moved down to the sale arena itself, which is where the commissioner is at. Things are progressing quite nicely, as they always do. This is not the first time I've been here. And Rhino, I don't know if you've ever been here. I don't think you have, but it's really a neat atmosphere, and it's a fantastic event to watch.
Yeah, I haven't got to attend in person, but I have been party to it many times behind this board.
Yeah, and it is really a fantastic event. Boy, I am really arguing with myself whether or not I'm going to bring up what I was talking about with Representative Pygott. I think I may give him a pass on it today. We were having a good conversation. I just happened to look down. Actually, what happened, I was thinking, I probably better check the time, and then I see Alex grab her phone and look at the time, and her eyes got real wide, and I said, oh, yeah, I don't have to look. It's time to go back. Almost missed it, didn't I?
It was close.
Yeah, it happens, but close is fine, as long as you make your way in there. Let me ask you, what do you think in your book, in your mind, with the legislature going on right now, the session in full swing, we're past that first major deadline. What do you think is, aside from the income tax stuff, because that's all anybody wants to talk about, so we'll take that and we'll set it over to the side. Aside from that, what's the thing that catches your attention and what's left? We've got almost, about 1,000 bills, a little less than 1,000 bills left that are active as of right now. What's the one that grabs you?
It probably would have been the bill regarding the auditor's office, but it appears that's dead. That likely would have gotten more attention following deadline day, so... Gee, that's a tough one, because that was the first one that came to mind, and then I just remembered, nope, that one's dead, so that one didn't count.
And not really a major surprise that one died, I think.
No. I would have thought that would have gotten more and more attention the longer it went on and the longer it was alive.
Oh, yeah, it would have, but status quo remains there for now. And then we move forward. There were a couple, and I haven't looked. I honestly don't know if they made it past deadline day or not. We had a couple of bills that were getting some interest down in southwest Mississippi. One of them was the bill to basically make the manufacturers of pesticides and herbicides and the sellers of it immune to legal action. There's been a lot of talk about that down in that corner of the state. I don't know if that one survived or not. It had like 11 co-sponsors, 9 co-sponsors, something like that. So I'm going to have to look that one up and see where we're at. And I also saw another one that was positioning, I think Porter is who it came from, to set the speed limit on all 2-lane state roads to 70. Which would be a bit of a change. But I don't know if either one of those made it past deadline day. I haven't had a chance to go look it up yet.
I was just double-checking on the fireworks bills I've been paying attention to, and looks like at least one of them got out of the House Judd A committee, the one by Representative Bill Kincaid.
Really?
Oh, yeah, give more time to buy fireworks in the Magnolia State.
Oh, okay. Because we do have kind of set windows right now, right?
Right.
So how much broader is that going to make it?
Let's see. This one changes the date. It's only just a couple days, looks like. So not that big of a difference.
So nobody's going to be buying Valentine's fireworks.
No, you still got to go to Alabama for those.
I love you, honey. Boom. That kind of thing. As usual, it's a hodgepodge. There are some really good things in there, and then there's some other things in there that receive a variety of opinions when people see them and look at them, but it's all part of the process. We keep saying that here on Super Talk, but it is the gospel golden truth. It's kind of like the theme song from The Facts of Life. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have, the legislature. I'm going to get a phone call over that one, aren't I, Rhino? Or a text or something. There's Representative Pikett may mention it when he comes back, but I think he's down there busy listening to the commissioner at the moment.
I do think the mobile sports betting bill will get a fair amount of attention between now and whenever it ultimately dies in the Senate and committee, but yeah, that one feels like it should be a slam dunk, and for whatever reason, it's just not.
Well, we keep seeing things that feel like they should be a slam dunk. We've seen this several times over the years, but we have trouble getting it up that hill. School choice is a great example of that to me. It seems fairly simple, from the 1,000-yard view. But we keep getting, I think, lost in the weeds on that whole topic. Okay. I couldn't tell what they were doing. There's a lot of activity here. That's the thing that you got to realize, because we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, not to mention livestock. And now, if you want to know how things are going, Gary is showing death around. That's where we're at. That's where we're at now with the whole situation. Back to Washington very briefly, Rhino. What do you think the odds are? And this is going to come out of left field unless you know me, have ever met me, or ever heard me on the air. With everything else that's going on, all of the disclosures of the spending and the funding and all of the things going on behind the scenes, where would you put the over-under? What are the odds of us getting some sort of release of classified UFO information?
UFO information is still probably a coin flip, because that was discussed. I'm basing this on Joe Rogan's conversation with Trump, because that was pretty much the longest uncut conversation we've had with a presidential candidate on their platform and their ideals. He talked a little bit about UFOs in that conversation, but I haven't seen much in the way of actions from him or the administration, in the same way that in that same podcast he talked about the JFK assassination files and the MLK Jr. assassination files, and that executive order's already been signed, and it's in the process of declassification and public release. I don't know that we're going to get a whole lot on UFOs, simply from the standpoint of Trump didn't seem to be knowledgeable about that subject compared to other things we would want to find out about.
Yeah, and I throw that out there for one reason, because not even necessarily about the subject itself, just to illustrate how broad the range has suddenly become of issues people are talking about and expecting something to happen about. It's a little bit different than it's been for a while. Everything's on the table now, it feels like.
Oh, yeah. I've seen everything from UFOs and JFK files to suggesting the YouTube guy Brandon Herrera take over the ATF to help dismantle it, to, I mean, there are conversations about, with all of the corruption in the federal government and our tax dollars being misused, why don't we just start a clean slate? If you owe back taxes to the IRS as of today, no, just file it and get up to date.
Yeah.
So you got everything from UFOs to clean slate with the IRS.
Hey, already, less than 3 weeks in, crazier things have happened in this administration already, so we'll see. Coming up next, hopefully he's done, Commissioner Andy Gibson will join us here at the Trade Mart on SuperTalk.
Pickup truck. Middays with Gerard Gibert.
What? This is so
awesome. On SuperTalk Mississippi.
I call my baby to try to get a date. My boss says, no dice, son, you gotta work late. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Welcome back, SuperTalk Mississippi.
Well, my mom and papa told me, son, you
Middays, the Element Wealth Studios on the road today at the Trade Mart next to the Coliseum with the 60th Annual Dixie National Rodeo and the Junior Sale of Champions going on today. That's what they're down there doing right now. I keep promising you, Commissioner Andy Gibson, he literally during the break passed by here doing about 40 miles an hour in a 15 zone. He was in a hurry to get somewhere else, but he will be back. And whenever he does, we're just going to have him sit down and then we'll get right down to business because he is busy. The Commissioner of Agriculture, to say that he's involved here today and with the Dixie National in general would be a vast understatement. This is an enormous undertaking. I know we talk about it all the time, but he is kind of the ringleader, if you will, of this entire thing. So he stays just a little bit on the busy side. In the meantime, Rhino, did you see that over in England they have declared that Legos are anti-LGBT?
I did see that.
I saw that and scrolled past it and got about 3 things down and went, wait, what was that? Because they come in, each one has a male and a female, and they're designed to mate. That's literally their description, why they said it was just harmful to the proper narrative. I'm thinking that was probably some of the money that came from USAID that's still being spent at the moment, I guess, because it'll take a little time for that to unwind, unless you work for Politico.
Well, it's another example of nothing is ever good enough for the perpetually aggrieved, because if there's one company, especially a toy company, that has embodied the ideals of inclusion, that would be Lego. And it's not even a new thing for them. Like, for example, here's a note that came with Legos back in the 70s. I'll read it to you. To parents. The urge to create is equally strong in all children, boys and girls. It's imagination that counts, not skill. You build whatever comes into your head the way you want it. A bed or a truck. A doll's house or a spaceship. A lot of boys like doll houses. They're more human than spaceships. A lot of girls prefer spaceships. They're more exciting than doll houses. The most important thing is to put the right material in their hands and let them create whatever appeals to them. That was the 70s.
I would have to say, I agree with that statement. Let kids be kids.
Right.
Literally, being a kid, the entire point of it is to do stupid stuff. That's how you figure out what the smart stuff is. Because the only way you really learn how to thoroughly and expertly ride a bike is by wrecking a few times, And you have to allow them that runway to do it. And now we're getting dangerously close to me getting onto a rant about the trophy generation, the participation trophy generation, and we're just not going to go there today. I refuse because I'm having a good day. I'm in a good mood. I don't want to wreck it. It's worth a shot. Did we ever get any notification? Do we know when they're holding the votes on Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr.?
I haven't seen an update on those votes, but I have seen reporting that Kash Patel's confirmation vote has been pushed back a week.
Why?
Well, considering he's taken over the FBI, one can only presume they're trying to hide whatever dirty deeds were done in the week they have.
Well, and I don't know if this was tied to Patel's nomination or to the other ones or what, but I saw something, apparently Adam Puckermouth Schiff was filibustering last night.
Well, of course.
On the floor of the Senate.
I mean, Elizabeth Warren bloviated for a full hour.
Oh, don't get me started. I'm sorry, but she is the most interesting side effect I have seen so far of the Trump administration getting underway and Doge going in and unearthing all these things and forcing the Democratic Party to play defense deep in their own territory is how much it's enabling so many of them to look more and more unhinged. It just feels like the public perception has shifted enormously in just a couple of weeks' time.
People are tired of being browbeaten, especially by those that they know are not smarter than them. It's evident they're not smarter than the average bear.
Yes.
How else do they believe men can be women? You got to be a little off your rocker.
Now, on the other hand, we're going to go over here. This is fairness in action. Can somebody please schedule an intervention and have Mitch McConnell just go home at this point? That he cannot be the only conservative in Kentucky, can he? Pretty sure he's not. We can find somebody else to do a fantastic job for the Republican cause in that seat. I guess you saw he fell down another flight of steps yesterday.
He fell twice yesterday.
And now he's being pushed around in a wheelchair. And
the only problem with asking him to step aside, which it would be nice if he did, is that the Kentucky governor is Andy Beshear, a Democrat. So if he stepped aside, there would be a Democrat appointed to replace Mitch McConnell.
That is very true. That's a very good point, which means we're kind of stuck with this.
Pretty much.
Which is not the best thing, not the best situation to be in, if you ask me. What I'm trying to say by illustrating this, because I was on the news yesterday, and I think it is newsworthy and noteworthy, but I think the thing that we have to realize is we've got problems across the board. We have things that need to be worked on and issues that need to be dealt with across the board. The majority of them, yeah, they have to do with the Democrats. They have to do with the liberal mindset and the mechanisms that they put into place decades ago that they have slowly perverted to their own ends. That's an enormous problem. But we have other problems too. Now, to me, the trap we can fall into is trying to spread ourselves too thin, or at least I would normally say that. Normally, I would say don't spread yourself too thin. Focus on one problem and then move to the next one. Is it just me, or is the Trump administration focusing on all the problems at the same time, just at once, knocking them out?
Flood the zone.
Yeah.
The one thing that comes to mind, though, with how active the early days of this Trump presidency have been, the vast majority of what he's doing and what he's gotten accomplished was relatively a light lift politically. What has been the holdup for, I don't know, as long as I've been paying attention to politics? Because with the successes Trump has had in the first few weeks, it really starts to paint the picture that at least a portion of the Republican Party has been nothing better than controlled opposition.
Yes. Yes, that has, I think, become more and more apparent over the last 2 weeks. And that, to me, is more problematic than the liberals. We know what they're going to do. We know what their attitudes are. They know we know the actions they are going to take and the opinions they hold. It's when it's one of the people in your own foxhole that starts shooting at you, that's a whole different problem. And I think we're going to have to focus on that. But the entire game plan here, yes, bam, 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 nonstop, 7 different headline level stories a day, every day. What that has done has completely deconstructed the liberal game plan of building a narrative around everything that happens and angling it in the worst possible light in the worst possible way. They can't keep up. They literally cannot keep up. That's what Rhino means by flood the zone. You're just overwhelming the defense to the point to where they don't know what to focus on, and they don't have just 1 or 2 things they can focus on. You got to focus on 20 things at once. Well, you got to divide and conquer at that point, right?
And by the time they've figured out a good way to get people riled up about the last thing, you're already on the next thing.
Exactly. You can go ahead and have a seat. I'm not going to talk to you right now because we're going into a break, but that's not your fault at all. We've got Agriculture Commissioner Andy Gibson here. He is busy. He is going to take a real good nap after today. I have no doubt. Well, after the next week or two, you still got some to go after this. But we'll talk to the commissioner when we come back here on Middays at the Trade Mart in Jackson. We are here for the Junior Sale of Champions, part of the 60th Annual Dixie National Rodeo, and we will talk to the commissioner next. Keep it here.
Attention, adoring fans! It's time for
Middays with Gerard Gibert. on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Right now, our next guest needs somebody walking behind him with a boombox playing this at all times, because this feels like I saw you blow by here twice trying to keep up with stuff, Commissioner.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite tunes right there, as a matter of fact. I told them I wanted to play that at my funeral when they carry me out. I don't let any grass grow under my feet. I like to keep on moving.
Yeah, and you do a good job of it. It's Agriculture Commissioner Andy Gibson, and you are hopping. There's a lot going on for you right now.
Yes, sir, there is. This is one of our busiest, well, frankly, it's my busiest time of the year. The state fair is busy, but Dixie National makes it look easy. This is a huge event, and most folks don't realize we've been having the Dixie National livestock shows here since January. It's really since January 5th. So we've had quarter horse shows, we have a cutting horse show, we have all kind of livestock shows that are here, and statewide we've had 1,300 young people come and exhibit their livestock and show their 4-H and FFA project, these animals. And today, the cream of the crop is going to sell to the highest bidder out here. And I believe we're going to hit another record. I believe we'll hit the $500,000 mark today. It's going to be a big day for these young people.
Well, and I think last year was, what, 484,000?
That's right. That was their all-time record. In fact, since I've been commissioner, we've had 3 all-time records. So we want to have another one today, and we're going to see that unfold. In fact, I hear the auctioning going on right now. This is what I tell people, the best workforce development program. Frankly, it's a leadership development program in the state of Mississippi. 4-H and FFA, these young people come and they work so hard all year long raising these animals, and they learn hard work, but they also learn life lessons like what it means to win gracefully and to lose gracefully. And, it is a situation that involves the whole family. So it's a family-building exercise and program, and we're just honored to support it. We kick off the Dixie National Rodeo always with this Sale of Champions before the rodeo even begins, because it's all about agriculture. It's all about our young people, and we are just honored to keep this tradition going. This is the 60th year of the Dixie National, the diamond anniversary. How about that?
You have grandkids of some of the original participants in the first year participating this year, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I asked a group out there a while ago. We found the original sign, 60 years old, wooden sign for the Dixie National. Held it up. I said, how many of y'all were here? And a number of hands went up. Some people stood up. So, yes, their grandchildren, some great-grandchildren are here. This is a multi-generational program, and it is a wonderful thing for Mississippi. These are young people who want to build their lives here in Mississippi. We have this issue of brain drain. We talk about it a lot. These are folks who have roots in the soil of Mississippi, literally, farmers, ranchers, landowners, and some of these young people will go on to farm, and we thank God for that. We need our farmers to keep on keeping on. But many of these young people who receive scholarships today and who will win these prizes, they're going to go on to be our future doctors and bankers, and they're going to go on to be educators and have other careers in the state as well. So it's critical to the future of Mississippi that this program continues, and we're going to keep it going as strong and as keep it growing in the right direction.
Well, you mentioned scholarships. That's a great opener, because that's one of the reasons we had to push you back a couple of segments.
Yeah.
You were busy in there handing out scholarships.
We were. Our Sale of Champions Committee, which is a group of private citizens raising private dollars, that's the best way to get something done. In any project, get the private sector involved, and they've raised all this money. Last year, $484,000. They'll raise, I'm convinced, more than that this year. Different businesses support this program, and part of what we do is to auction off the highest, the grand champion and reserve champion animals, but there's a lot more scholarships that are awarded today. I think 40, 50, 60 that we're giving away just now toward these young people who didn't make the animal livestock sale. That they were here and they did just as hard work, and this is a way to show them that their work and their work ethic is valued, and we want them to stay in Mississippi and get a good education and keep on keeping on.
Well, that's the main lesson that the kids get from all this. In life, there are no participation trophies. You got to put in the work to get something.
That's exactly right. It's not, life is not a handout situation. You've got to you got to figure out where you are, where you want to go, and you've got to take some steps and set some goals to get there. That's what I teach my family, my children, my wife Leslie and I do. And by making those goals and setting those dreams and putting in the work necessary to get from point A to point B, they can have some new goals after that. And life involves work. It also involves working smart. And these young people here today, there goes one right there, hard-working folks, but also they have the smart ability to see where they are and where they want to go and take the steps to get there successfully.
And the ability to more easily, kind of accept new ways of doing things. I had Morgan White in here earlier, the president-elect of Mississippi 4-H, and I'm talking to her about, the animals and everything, and she said something about robotics, and I called her out. I said, wait, you got robot cows? What are you doing? She said, she starts talking about drone technology, all of these things. Things are changing, but that goes back to what you just said about working smart.
Yes, and our partners at Mississippi State University Extension that helps operate these shows with us, they're on the cutting edge of research technology. Yeah, they've got robots that are developing ways to work cattle in the pasture, and I've seen it in operation myself. The drone technology that's out there is astounding. The world has changed. Technology is better and more efficient than it's ever been, and our farmers need that because it costs so much now to farm. Anytime you can find efficiencies through technology, that's a good thing.
100%. Every penny you can save, especially with the economic climate.
It's never been a tougher time for our farmers in America. We talked about the inflation. That's probably what reelected Donald Trump back to the White House. Thank God for that. But the difficulties of inflation and high interest rates, no one has suffered worse than farmers because there's nowhere to pass that cost on to. So we were facing a situation that a lot of farms are getting ready to shut down, and there will be some that will not continue. Some folks who could retire and just say, we're done with this. That's why we had to keep this next generation plugged in and keep it going. Our agriculture is the biggest part of our state economy. Most people don't realize that, but it's overwhelmingly the biggest part of the economy of the state of Mississippi, ag and forestry. You put those together, about a third of the jobs are ag and forestry related and food service related. So we are very honored to support agriculture this way. It's a simple way, but it's also an important way to keep grounded here in Mississippi in agriculture and our young people grounded in the work ethic that it's going to take to succeed, whether they farm or whether they go on to do something else. This is about the future of our great state.
They'll learn lessons they can take into anything they decide to do with the rest of their life.
They do. The current chairman of the Sale Champions Committee, Kelly Tucker, a banker, she got started in her local 4-H and FFA programs. Her testimony is, I wouldn't be in the banking business today. I wouldn't be a successful officer today in a bank that I am without the lessons learned at these livestock shows. So I tell people, when you talk about the rodeo, don't ever forget about the livestock shows. You wouldn't have a rodeo without the Dixie National Livestock Show.
That's exactly right. And talking about the rodeo, before we run out of time here, got a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
We're about to really kick that into high gear now, aren't we?
Tomorrow night, Friday, February the 7th, we're going to kick it off with a bang. It is the diamond anniversary, 60 year. Mississippi Army National Guard is going to put on a pre-show 15 minutes before 7 o'clock like you've never seen, like we've never had. They're going to do some maneuvers on the floor of the Coliseum, and nobody wants to miss this. You talk about kicking it off with a bang. And then we have got some great lineups entertainment-wise. Sam Barber, George Burge, Lori Morgan, Clay Walker, Zach Top, Ella Langley, and then finally we got Gretchen Wilson that last Saturday. So if you hadn't got your tickets, you better get them now. Get them at the box office, or you can buy them on Ticketmaster. Pay some extra fees through Ticketmaster, but you get them while you can, because frankly, we've sold more rodeo tickets than we ever have at this point. We're on track for another rodeo record on top of what we did last year.
Well, let me ask you this, and I've never asked you this in all these years because it's never really seemed to be something to, even worry about. Is there a chance some nights of the rodeo could sell out?
Yeah, we actually have already sold out Zach Top. It sold out in November.
Wow.
So we opened up some floor tickets, concert only. We don't have any more rodeo tickets for Zach Top night, but we do have some floor concert tickets. I think a few left. You can buy them only at the Coliseum box office. Same thing for Ella Langley, sold out. But there's plenty of other chances to come to the rodeo. I'll be here Friday night to kick it off, tomorrow night, and then we'll be Saturday at 2 and 7, Sunday at 2, and then we'll pick it back up Wednesday at 7 and all the way through the next weekend. So come out and enjoy the great rodeo. It's going to be a fantastic 2025 Dixie National Rodeo. 60 years of the Dixie National, bigger and better than ever.
Feel like there should be an asterisk on that statement. Come on out and enjoy it if you can get a ticket. Don't wait.
Don't wait. That's right. Get them now. I mean, we're glad they're selling, but it's also we've had people that have had to say, I'm sorry, we are sold out. We need a bigger Coliseum. I mean, we don't have this program is growing so big. We have to think to the future. It's going to be a fantastic Dixie National.
That may be the best thing we need to work on I've heard in a while.
I think it is.
Commissioner Andy Gibson, Commissioner of Agriculture, and the busiest man in show business this week and next week, all tied into the 60th annual Dixie National Rodeo. And I know you've got a million other things to go take care of, so we'll let you go.
I'm going to get on it, and we'll see y'all at the Dixie National. Thank you.
Come on out and see him. We will continue on this Thursday morning right after this on Middays. Keep it here.
This Valentine. Come on. Middays with Gerard Gibert.
All right, we are back
on SuperTalk Mississippi.
All down at Margie's bar, telling stories if we had one. Someone fired the old jukebox.
If somebody will give me a nickel, I'll make my next guest sing along with this like it's karaoke, just for our entertainment. You know, you do what you got to do. Welcome back.
You would lose listeners over that.
Oh no, it'd be great. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you would.
Come on, it'd be fantastic.
I'm
Jamie
a rock
Swafford.
star in my car, but that's the only time.
That is fine. You can pretend you're in your car. Or we could run a mic out to your car and let you have at it. That would work too.
No.
Jamie Swafford, the Industry Affairs Coordinator for Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. And if ever there was an industry affair to be coordinated, here we are. You're busy, aren't you?
This is a great event. It is a great event that supports Mississippi agriculture and our kids, which, I mean, what more can you ask for, right?
Well, we hear the sounds of the auction underway in there. And I suspect this is going to be a good year.
I sure hope so. We had our first steer, I think, go for $22,000. So
oh wow!
I hope to see those numbers steady tick up. So yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, a lot of people don't realize when you're talking about selling cattle, like selling a steer. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about $500 here.
Mm-mm. But these go for these kids. I mean, the money goes back to these kids, and they've worked so hard. Such a commitment.
Well, and let me just say, every year you can tell it when you look at the animals too. Mm-hmm. You can tell that they've been loved, they've been cared for.
And maybe been to the beauty shop a time or two.
Maybe a time or two. Sometimes you just got to go get your hoofs done. You do what you got to do. Now, this process today that's going on is the end result of a lot of work over a lot of time since this time last year, basically. Yeah. And I would assume pretty quick here, things will get started putting next year's together.
I talked to someone today, and I think at the end of March they're expecting baby goats, so they're getting ready already for next year at the end of March. So yeah, it starts right as you finish this.
Wow, but this event specifically, I mean, the Dixie National Rodeo, it kind of ties into Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation, but this event is like the heart and soul of what you do.
We are proud to be able to support these kids by, participating in the auction, but more importantly, we we really focus on our youth and on our young farmers and ranchers. We have a program at the Federation called the Young Farmer and Rancher Program, and it's about developing the next generation of leaders. And it's a really great program to be a part of. But also our youth. We have some people that focus on that, everything through Ag in the Classroom, which we have an Ag in the Classroom teacher who goes to different classes across the state. I think she touched like 400 and something thousand kids last year.
Holy
so
cow.
that our children will know the importance of agriculture in their daily lives, as well as, where their food comes from. So we have a person dedicated to that in the Federation, and we also provide curriculum. If the teacher can't get on her schedule, there's curriculum out there that they can use to teach agriculture in their classroom. So yeah, this is all part of it, but we're about agriculture every day. I think the saying is Mississippi needs farmers and Mississippi needs Farm Bureau.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if we have a teacher who is playing hooky and in the teacher's lounge right now, and not actually in the classroom, that's listening to this, that said, oh, I didn't know there was curriculum, they just reach out to the Farm Bureau Federation?
They can reach out to us through our website, msfb.org, or they can contact us and set up a visit with Shelby Hall. That's our Ag in the Classroom teacher, and she is fantastic. We even recently got some virtual reality so that the kids can, the kids that can't go to a farm can get out and experience what the farm is like through the virtual reality goggles.
Okay.
It's really cool.
That is cool.
She has a cow. It's not a real cow, but it's a cow that they can, a dairy cow, and the children can participate in an activity where they can make butter, learn to make butter or ice cream. Shelby, don't kill me. I think it depends on the temperature.
Make a dairy product.
Yes, they can make a dairy product. So yeah.
See, I would spend all day playing with that. I'd never get anything done.
I think Shelby has a lot of fun.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Because it's awesome. But that's another example. This keeps coming up, and it's been coming up all day. Technology. Most people don't think of the word technology with agriculture and these industries, and that's all it is now.
It is. I mean, you cannot continue to feed an ever-growing population. I mean, what do they not make more of, which is land? So you cannot continue to feed the world on the land we have without becoming more technologically advanced in how you do it. And our farmers are very well versed in technology. They have to be successful. So yeah, that's a very important part of the industry. And we have at Farm Bureau, we have started a foundation that focuses on ag literacy, ag promotion, scholarships. We do a lot of scholarships at Farm Bureau, and we're excited about being able to house more scholarships, as well as we have an initiative called Farmers Feeding the Hungry. So we're partnering with the Mississippi Food Network to give back, to make sure that we aren't the most food insecure state in this nation. We're not, but we're not in that top tier of that.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Jamie Swafford, the Industry Affairs Coordinator for Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. We've got news from Fox and SuperTalk Mississippi News. And then back with Representative Bill Pygott to kick off the final hour of Middays next.
And now, the talk that keeps Mississippi talking.
That's what I like to listen to.
You're listening to Middays with Gerard Gibert. Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Winter is here again, oh Lord. Haven't been home in a year, oh Lord. I hope she holds on a little longer.
Welcome back. SuperTalk Mississippi Middays. We packed up the Element Well Studios and transported it to the Trade Mart next to the Coliseum for the 60th annual Dixie National Rodeo Junior Sale of Champions here today, having a wonderful time. Thanks to the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation for having us out here, of course, along with Gray Daniels. Having a good time, and we have now one of the hardest working men in the state of Mississippi right now because the legislature is in session. We've got Representative Bill Pygott with us. How you doing, Rep?
Doing fine, sir. Proud to be here.
How did you find time to get free to be here?
Well, that was kind of hard, but I think this is something important to be involved in. So I've got somebody taking care of me at the Capitol right now until I can get back. So I'm here to support the youth.
Now, you guys are gaveled in this afternoon.
We are.
What specifically are you working on right
now? There is there was two things this morning when I left. Redistricting of House seats we had to redo, and now they're on education bills, so they should be on education for quite a while.
That's going to take a minute.
That takes a minute. There's always a lot of questions.
You know, we talk all the time about, that first deadline to get it out of committee and its originating chamber passes, and a lot of bills just kind of drop off at that point. Maybe not permanently, but they just kind of go to the side. How many things don't make it across the finish line just because you run out of time?
A lot does not. This year we've had a record number of bills introduced, and you had to go through and kind of cull out that you're under a time frame, and the last couple of days of committee meetings is real hectic, and it's just you got to be real careful what you bring out. So you spend some time with that, and everybody wants theirs to go through. So and that, nothing is ever over until right at the end of the session, and that's when all of the work really gets done. So we've sent a lot of bills now to the Senate for them to take up. So we're working on our bills for a few days, and then we'll have a little break maybe to wait to see what we get from the Senate.
Now, let me ask you the question. There's one topic everybody's talking about with this session. The income tax deal, is that getting done?
Yes, the House Bill number 1 passed pretty heavily in the House. I support it. I think it's a good thing. A lot of moving parts in it, but there's a lot of work that went into that. So we'll see what the Senate does with it. I think they have a plan too. It'll go to the end of the session, and we'll work out something. I think it'll be good for the state of Mississippi.
And that's the kind of thing that you're working on to some extent or another almost continuously, even if it's just having conversations about it.
That is correct. Yes, you do. And that's what it, you have one vote. And the networking is very important. And you spend a lot of time that. You got to get to know everybody, how they feel about stuff, and you try to sell your ideas. So, we got a lot of good friends in the legislature. So we work hard to try to push something through that's better for Mississippi.
Well, and this seems like a great analogy to use here at the Sale of Champions. There's a little bit of horse trading that goes on between people, isn't there?
There is. You're right. There is.
Because sometimes, you need some support for this. They need some support for that. If you're both on board with it, well, you can kind of buddy up.
That's true. System. That's very true. That's very true. There's always give and take. And that's just part of the system. It's a common term. It's like making sausage. But when you get through, most of the time, it tastes pretty good.
A lot of people, I think, don't realize that a lot of that give and take happens before a bill is even introduced.
Yes, sir. You're right. It is. Yes. There's a lot that's done outside of even the committee meetings. And if you got something you're passionate about, you try to sell your ideas. Yeah.
What is there anything in this session that you would consider to be a big deal to you? Not the income tax thing. Let's put that to the side. Everybody's talking about that. Is there any one thing jumps out in your mind and you go, boy, I'm proud we've put this together?
We're and let me tell you, just in ag in particular, I passed out a couple of bills in the ag committee that passed on the floor really big, and that was on alternative foods. Fake meat. We have a lot of mislabeling on products, and we're trying to clarify that what a person actually knows when they buy what they're getting. We've done that on catfish several years ago. Now we're finding there's a real problem with our seafood industry, so we're trying to do some transparency there and labeling to make sure when you go to a restaurant, if you want an American product, you're actually getting an American product.
Well, and we had that whole scandal that unfolded down on the coast.
Correct, on a very, very popular restaurant, yes.
And that's the kind of thing that we have to work to make sure it doesn't happen again.
That's correct. And if my numbers that I've been given is correct, over 90% of restaurants there are some mislabeling. And I hate to say that, but and price is one of the driving factors. You get everybody trying to stay in business, so it complicates things. But we just want the Mississippi people to know what they are actually buying.
Now, do you know, and I'm sure you don't, but I'm going to ask anyway, do you know of any differences between the Senate's income tax plan and the House's plan?
I do not. I think it's premature to say anything on that. They're working hard on their plan. Like I said, at the end of the session, we'll come out with a product. So I really can't talk for the Senate.
Yeah, but when they release theirs, then you guys have to get together and work out any differences and try to meet in the middle, right?
That's correct. Probably at the end, it'll go to conference. What's it called, a conference? You got a Senate chairman, a House chairman, 3 members on each side, and they will work out a compromise.
How's the frustration level at the Capitol right now?
At times, it's just very high. It does. Everybody in the Capitol is passionate about some sector, and sometimes passion kind of flares up some. But most of the time we try to keep it in check.
A little tenseness in the voice, a little more urgency than might be necessary at times.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's fair. But that again, part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Do you think it's fair to say that at its base level, politics is not particularly pretty to look at from the outside in?
Politics is hard to explain from somebody that's never been in it. I have told several people, I think if they spent 1 week at the Capitol just to see, they would understand more, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what goes on in the legislature now. And every member is dedicated to try to represent their district, what is the best for their district. And that causes some problems because counties are not alike. Their needs are different.
And that's part of the challenge, because you got to come up with one solution for everybody that still tries to meet as many of those smaller individual goals as possible.
That's correct.
I'm glad it's you and not me is what I'm building up to.
Sometimes I wonder why I got into it myself. But I've been here 18 years. I have met a world of wonderful people. I've made some really good friends, and it's challenging at times, but it's well worth the effort.
Well, it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of frustration. I'm sure everything anybody ever tells you from outside politics as far as constituents or everybody, I'm sure it's all just glowing. You get nothing but positive things, right?
That's not quite true.
Okay, well, I'm trying to help you out here, Bill. Come on. No, I know that's the problem. But, I've always tried to live by the attitude of, if you're not, making somebody mad, you're not doing anything worth doing.
It's hard. You will never make everybody happy. And unfortunately, when you do something to help one sector, you may be hurting another sector some. So you got to kind of do a balancing act to try to do the best for your district, the best you can.
Again, I will repeat it. I'm glad it's you and not me.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Yes, and we're lucky to have men like you who are willing to do it. So thank you for that very much. It's Representative Bill Pygott, and keep up the good work. Keep your blood pressure down.
We'll try to do that.
Take your medication. Get some naps in somewhere, because we'd like to keep you around. We will continue from the Sale of Champions here at the Trade Mart on Middays on SuperTalk Mississippi right after this.
Keeps me hanging on. It's the only thing that keeps me hanging on.
Hi, Jayla.
Covering the stories that matter most to Mississippians. Gerard Gibert. Middays with Gerard. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen. Pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life.
Welcome back, Middays, in the Mobile Element Wealth Studios at the Trade Mart in Jackson for the Sale of Champions at the Dixie National Rodeo. It's the Dixie National Rodeo. You can't have a rodeo without somebody helping to keep you pumped up a little bit, and that's the gentleman we got sitting here with us now, Jacob Moorhead, the rodeo announcer and producer with Harper and Morgan. How you doing, sir?
I just wish the Dolly Parton song was true this week. 9 to 5.
No, not
it's
a chance.
Not. No, I do. We will slip off occasionally from 11:45 to 12:15 a.m. and maybe take a nap, but it's Jackson. It's the Dixie National. I'm actually not the rodeo announcer.
Okay.
We've got a great guy coming back this year by popular demand, Andy Stewart, who has been around a lot of years here. Worked in the shadows of Mike Mathis for a long time, and last year, of course, got the call and became one of the voices of the legendary Dixie National Rodeo. So Andy will be here. I handle a lot of the operation of what goes on here on the production side, just making sure that the square pegs go in the round holes, and just play a big part in bringing the greatest show on dirt to life.
Now, what bothers me on your behalf about what you just said, about all of that, you have all of the headaches and don't get to have the fun? Is that what you're telling me?
No, well, we still have a lot of fun. I actually direct the whole show. I work on the back of the announcer stand.
Headaches, gotcha. Okay.
Headaches, write that down.
Yeah.
Work up there, make sure because we're lucky enough to be one of the largest rodeos, not only the largest rodeo east of the Mississippi, one of the largest rodeos in the nation, one of the largest stock shows. You hear it going on right down the way. I know those guys have been on here talking about what a success the Sale of Champions is every year, and we just compound that with the pro rodeo portion of it. I was just kind of looking over the notes and stuff like that. We're going to have in excess of 800, almost 850 runs. Rides, runs inside the glass house here this week. So all vying for a chance at a major prize purse. Implications for not only the Southeastern Circuit Finals and the NFR Open, but the National Finals Rodeo. That road gets paved right through Jackson nowadays, with implications for the Cinch Governor's Cup, major playoff rodeos. So in order to do that, those prize dollars, they equal rodeo points. So it's all about traveling hard, coming to the rodeos like this, and making them happen. So it's our job to roll out the welcome mat and give these guys a stage that they can perform on. And between our work with Rory Limmelbucker and the great folks here at the state of Mississippi and the ag department here, that truly roll out the red carpet. It is not just a deal where we show up on Monday and try to make this thing happen. It's a 12-month job. Michael Laster, the executive director of the fair. Rory Limmel's our executive producer on the rodeo side. I work for him. Taking all those bits and pieces and rolling them together into a finished product that we can say, we're excited for the next 2 hours to bring you the greatest show on dirt. Hold on tight. It's the 7 major events professional rodeo, and we're going to compound that every night with an amazing act when we lower that stage from the ceiling. It's Jackson tradition. It's the sound. It's the lights. It's this building. So often we go in buildings nowadays that are state-of-the-art and stuff like that, but it's getting so rare now where you get to walk in a house and go, Elvis played in here. Those things are going away.
Well,
it's so exciting to come here.
Yeah, the way I look at it, and I've been to some of those places, some various arenas and facilities and everything else. They're nice, they're shiny, they're fancy, they're new. They have no soul.
Yeah, it's a blessing to go in those buildings, but if these walls could talk now, we got a couple guys working for us that are in their 20s and just walking them around the building, showing them pictures of how it used to be. That Easter flood from the 70s when this place had 8 foot of water in it. How this place used to be and what the fairgrounds has been able to do here. It was this round building and this row of barns forever.
And that was it.
And then, turn of the millennium, Kirk Fordyce Equine Center across the way. This beautiful set of halls here that we're in today with the sale going on, and you look at the ease of how all that works with a sale, photos in the arena. We're going to have a rodeo dance in here Friday and Saturday night in Trade Hall C. We're going to have shopping experiences both weekends in Trade Halls A and B. So it's kind of a destination. It's so much more than just a rodeo. Yes, it's Cowboy Channel, it's rock and roll, it's all the history that goes along with the pageantry of what it was when it first came here. But it's a turnkey operation to come to the Mississippi Fairgrounds for the week and say, we're home. Let's make this thing into something.
Well, and that's the problem. We go back to the Dolly Parton song that bumped us in. Your 9 to 5 was 9 o'clock. I'd say probably Tuesday night until about 5 a.m. a week from Sunday.
We're actually fortunate enough that we have an amazing winter run, we call it. We're in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're in South Haven, Mississippi. We're in Hattiesburg. We're in Lake Charles. We come here. That schedule looks kind of like a ping pong ball, but it makes it to where we actually get to stop by here between every one of these rodeos and work on Jackson. Kind of get some office work done. This year, we're retooling some of the fan experience inside the arena with new signage. We're brightening everything up. People that come to the Dixie National this year will kind of step back and go, "This is different." It's just those bits and pieces that add up to make it all work. But you're right. It's all day and all night. You think probably a staff of 20, 25 do this. It's on the rodeo side. It's a staff of a few. Building side, same deal. These guys at this arena, we're partners with them. We have an opportunity to produce a great event, but it's truly all hands on deck all the time. It's truly like I say, it's tough, but it's a passion.
You mentioned earlier that you were looking and says it's going to be about 850 runs.
Yep.
This year at the Dixie National Rodeo. How does that compare to other rodeos, to other shows?
The Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association divides their rodeos into segments. So there's small rodeos, medium rodeos, and large rodeos. Large rodeos are very few and far between. You've got your San Antonio, Texas, San Angelo, Texas, Houston, which is in where the Texans play ball. You've got Nampa, Idaho. Great big places that you just stagger back. Jackson, Mississippi is one of them. And we're really proud here to say that we're, in years past, we've been nominated as a large indoor rodeo of the year. That's voted on by the Cowboys. They get a ballot every October, and they get to write in the top 5 rodeos they think, deserve to be indoor rodeo of the year. And we have been on that list in the past. And we're making the strides to get back there. So it's certainly a work in progress, but we're getting it done. Great folks like Farm Bureau that are helping tell our story today, along with Cliff Mitchell and Ford. They step up to make these things work, and so truly without our labor, operations, building, of course that sponsorship piece, it all comes together. And like I say, it's 2 hours worth inside there, plus a little concert at the end. And I like Jackson, too, because so many places, they want what's right now, concert-wise. And we got a little bit of that. Little guy named Zach Top going to be in here and fill this place up.
He's sold out.
Ella Langley's right there as well. But Jackson, you get to always have those Lori Morgans. So many people are getting away from having that. And I consider us trailblazers for continuing to have and succeed with those great acts. So really looking forward to her, looking forward to catching these young guys on the way up with their talent. So many tickets still available. And I know it's Ticketmaster and right here at the box office. So we encourage everybody to come be a part of what we're doing. We want to talk to you, not talk about you. So come on.
And, we had Commissioner Andy Gibson in here just a few minutes ago, and he said that there are 2 or 3 different nights that are sold out.
There are. We have got Zach Top, he'll fill it up. Ella Langley's right there as well. I don't want to misspeak and say the other one, but just keep watch on our social media, Dixie National Rodeo, for updates on where we're at with tickets. But there are great tickets still available for great acts.
There are, but at the same time, I wouldn't wait.
No, don't wait. Now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it, because once we catch a gear here, and I don't know what the deal is. I was here a few weeks ago, and I was in my RV, and everything I had was froze up like I was in the Arctic tundra. And spring break weekend's going on out there right now, so I mean, no excuse not to come out, enjoy the weather, take in a trade show, sit on a Kubota tractor, feel of a Ford truck, and buy a ticket for the whole family to the Dixie National.
And remember, if you don't like the weather, give it about a day and a half. We'll cook up something new for you.
I've got a feeling those Jackson, Mississippi rains will come through before we're done.
Okay, I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say shh.
Yeah, I'll just keep that between us. Do not tell anyone else.
Jacob Moorhead, thank you so much. Enjoyed having you.
It's always a pleasure to come to Super Talk. Thank you, guys.
I would love to keep you for longer, but you're already now behind because you came here for this, I'm sure.
No, I'm good. I promise.
I know.
Thank y'all for telling our story.
Yes, anytime. Well, you got a great one, so it's our pleasure and honor to tell it for you.
Yes, sir.
As best we can. We continue from the Trade Mart at the Sale of Champions on Super Talk Mississippi and Middays right after this.
Middays with Gerard Gibert.
It is on.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Trailers for sale or rent.
Let me tell you, we have an object lesson in the chair over here because sometimes you can walk up at exactly the wrong moment and get roped into something.
Yes.
And I think a man named Mangold would agree with that.
Yes, sir. I would.
Yeah, Vince Mangold with us. Is the entire legislature here?
No, sir. Just a few of us, few from the Senate, a few from the House. I had a gentleman tell me a while ago. He said, "Y'all don't leave yet." He said, "Because if y'all go down to the Capitol, y'all might mess something up." And I said, "Well, we probably need to stay here with y'all."
Did you bid on any livestock?
Well, yes, sir. A really neat thing we started several years ago. We all came and were just watching one day at lunch, and somebody had the idea. I don't remember who it was. We ought to buy one. And so we started talking about it. And so every year starting January, Representative Price Wallace from Simpson County, he stands up and makes an announcement that he will start collecting money. And so we collect money from then till now. And so members of the House and Senate just we raised enough money that we went in with several other folks, but we bought a steer. And so that's just something that we've been able to do and enjoyed doing it.
What happens to the steer?
Well, this particular steer, one of the partners that we bought with was the Mississippi Cattlemen's Association. They will take this steer and they will raffle it off. Ultimately, the steer is going to turn into a steak and hamburger meat.
That was what I was going for.
I knew that's where you were going.
It's lunch and I'm hungry.
And see, this is Representative Price Wallace right over here to our right. He's the one that collects all the money. So you see him. So when he comes asking you generally give money.
You say yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And so this steer is raising money twice. So we raised money by buying it from the kid, and then the Cattlemen's Association will sell raffle. And if you win the raffle, you will get a cut up, ready to eat steer.
Very nice. And you can't say enough good things about the Cattlemen's Association.
Oh, gosh. The Cattlemen's Association is great. What these kids are doing is remarkable. You got some goats and steers and pigs and sheep. These kids have raised from little bitty. And so for them to be rewarded in this Sale of Champions is big time.
Well, it is big, and we've talked about it several times over the course of the day today. It's teaching a lot of lessons that you can't learn any other way than the hard way.
Well, these kids right here now, I mean, for those employers that are out there here in a few years, when you see a kid that comes through and they've been a part of 4-H or FFA, give them a second look, because these kids know how to work.
And that's the thing that you can't really count on.
Correct.
When you're hiring people, is getting somebody with a work ethic.
Correct. But if you see FFA, 4-H, something like that, give them a look.
I would go so far as to say, even if you see somebody walk in with a big belt buckle, sit down and pay attention.
That works. You could go with the belt buckle if you wanted to.
Yeah, same thing, same standard, I think. Just very quickly, legislature's in session. You snuck out the back door with several other people. I snuck out the back door right a little bit before lunch to come down here and be a part of this, and so we're headed back up the hill to get back to work. Well, just very quickly before you have to go, we know about some of the all-star things that are going on over there, and I call them that because everybody is talking about certain things, the income tax bill, House Bill 1, other things like that. Is there anything that's making its way that's still alive after committee deadline that kind of jumps out at you that you feel kind of passionate about?
Not really. The tax thing was big. One of the things that we were talking about before we left, you've got some legislative districts that have got to be redrawn according to, certain specifications. So we had done that one before I left. You had some education stuff that was that working through the process with school choice and all of that. That was on the agenda when I think they were talking about one of them when I left. But those are your big items that folks are concerned about. Either one side or the other. You got one side is totally against it, the other side we need it, so we're trying to work it through the process.
Well, and those are the big issues getting all the attention because, well, they're important to a lot of people.
They're important to a lot of people, yes.
And that's why they get that attention, so nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But there's always something, it seems like, that sneaks through the cracks somewhere, and after it's all over, you go, wait, where did that come from?
Where did that come from? That was kind of like, the time we were on before, and we talked about goat milk. So I'm not even going to go there.
I would like to say for the record, you brought that up.
Yes.
It's not on me this time.
Yes,
it's on you.
Yes, I did say that, but that one has not been an issue this year, but I think we took care of it whenever it did come up.
Well, I'm waiting to see what surfaces this year that's along the lines of the whole goat milk issue or the pecan theft issue.
The pecans, yes.
You got more than your fair share of calls and texts over that one, too.
We did. But, it all works through the process. What is major league important to one person, not so much the other, but you try to take every bit of it and work it through the process and try to help out as many people as you can.
Well, and that also, believe it or not, is one of the driving factors of the Sale of Champions here. Except you're helping kids really kind of get some experience and get some knowledge and most importantly, get some confidence moving into their future.
Well, this thing right here is huge because, if I'm not mistaken, it was a girl down from where I'm from. I want to think that she was very good at what she did in showing these calves, and she put herself through college and most of the way, if not all of the way, of dental school. And so she is a dentist now and raised a bunch of money showing cows.
See, that's fantastic. And
yes. That's what they do with that money.
That's the other thing that you have to remember. Even if they don't go into something related to agriculture, relating into livestock or anything of that nature, this is still enabling kids with that work ethic that you were talking about to pave the way toward their future that they want to have.
Yes, indeed.
And
yes, indeed.
If you can't support that, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, that's un-American now. I'm telling you now, you need to check your American card if you can't get behind that.
Yes, we will revoke it.
Yes, sir.
We will be standing by the door checking those.
Checking those. Amen.
That is important. And it's also important that you apparently occasionally have to just sneak away from work and not tell anybody until your jerk buddy pulls you onto the radio and lets everybody know that you're playing hooky.
You try to help out where you can. You looked lonely sitting here, so I just sat down and decided to have a conversation. And next thing I know, Scary Gary is throwing some headphones on me, and now we're having a conversation on the radio.
Again, that's what happens when you walk up to the wrong spot at the wrong time. You knew I was going to get you over here.
Yes, not a problem. Yeah. Not a problem. Always glad to help.
Well, I always enjoy talking to you.
We'll try to make it good.
Which I even enjoy talking to him when we're not on the air.
Well, that's true. That's true. So we try to make it work.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it does.
Hey, just to show you what kind of numbers, I'm going to look back here. The number one item, the grand champion steer, $22,000.
Wow.
Now that will help far as to put somebody through school.
Yeah. That's
$22,000 for the grand champion steer.
That goes a long
ways. A lot of money.
And I know Commissioner Gibson was talking about it. The goal is to top $500,000 total.
That's what we're going for. That's what we're going for.
We'll see if we came close last year.
Came real close last year.
484,000 last year.
That's pretty close.
So we were right there.
Right there.
One more steer
we could have got there.
And it would have put us over the top. So fantastic job. When you get your cow and you go start to cook it up, call me.
Well, the funny thing about that,
there's quality control.
Well, I buy that raffle ticket every year, and I ask. It used to be just Andy Berry, the cattleman, but now he's Senator Andy Berry, and he makes us refer to him as that. So I ask him every year, I said, well, how did I do in the raffle? I finished second.
Oh, no.
Finished second. And Price Wallace finished second one time. I was third. Can't understand it.
So what you're saying is it's rigged?
I'm not saying that it's rigged.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure the person who really needed that beef got it. They deserve it. So
yeah, you're probably right.
Probably.
That's a good way to look at it. Makes you feel better when you're slowly starving to death. Representative Vince Mangold with us here. I'm glad you stopped by.
Well, I'm glad y'all slowed me down. I mean, this is a whole lot more fun than being on the House floor hearing debate.
And ducking as people throw things at you.
It got pretty heated yesterday.
I know.
Yes, got pretty heated yesterday.
I know. So nice.
Hopefully day is a lot better.
Nice to be able to provide a little oasis of calm for you.
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions about goat milk, get a hold of him, Representative
or
Vince
Chairman
Mangold.
Pygott.
just hand that right off.
Throw that right back to him.
Let him have some of the
fun. He loves
fun.
to talk about it.
Final segment of Middays at the Trade Mart here on SuperTalk Mississippi. On the way next.
Blow my blues away.
Hey, this is Bob, and if you're like
Days with Gerard.
Good for America. Good for fans of justice and truth. Good for us.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
This is what we stand for.
I may look like a city slicker shining up through my shoes.
Welcome back. Final segment of Middays. Element Wealth Studios relocated to the Trade Mart right over here next to the Coliseum. Here today for the 60th annual Junior Sale of Champions. There has been a lot of activity over here because where we're set up here, we have the Element Wealth Studio laid out right in front of the banquet hall is Hall B. They used it as a banquet hall where everyone went in and ate. And then right down here, Hall C is where they're doing the actual sale itself. So it's right there. I can actually see into it from here. A lot of activity going on down there. And a lot of kids really becoming amazed, I think. I've seen some faces of very pleasant shock from people as they come out or as these things happen. So it's great to watch all of that unfold. And I recommend I'm going to be honest. Even if you're not showing, if you're not interested in bidding, this is a spectator sport. This is something fun to come watch. Even just stand out in the hall and watch it. And of course, you've got the rodeo itself. Always a wonderful time, as it always is. Rhino, I've got good news and bad news.
Uh-oh.
Well, the good news is you didn't get in too much trouble with me today because we haven't had a lot of time to talk. The bad news is I'm doing it again tomorrow. So go ahead and lawyer up probably at this point.
Speaking of bad news, though, I do have some potentially world-ending news.
Oh, no. What?
Now, I'd love to make fun of the doomsday clock people because they're hippies that never left the commune, but we do have a potential world-ending event coming just before Christmas of 2032. Last week, scientists announced asteroid 2024 YR4 had a 1.3% chance of impacting the Earth. The impact of the 200 or so foot across asteroid traveling, 40,000 miles an hour and weighing something like 250,000 tons. The chance of impact has now been upgraded this week.
Oh, great.
There's now a 1.9% chance of it impacting Earth.
Okay, so still not anything to take to the bank.
No, it's still over a 98% chance it's going to miss us completely.
But we moved a little bit closer. We're now to the point where we're trying to remember where we put our keys so we can go to the bank with it, just moving steadily in that direction. But the other thing, I don't know, especially right now with the way everything has unfolded since the inauguration, I really think it's hurting all of our capacity to look any further than 24 hours from now because 18 things will happen between now and then.
So an asteroid in 2032 is just a little bit too much.
Yeah, come on. That's 7 years. Nobody's got time for that right now. By the way, they had the Kash Patel nomination to be FBI director. Some Democrats objected, so that placed a 1 week hold on the vote. It's just a procedural thing. Gets held for a week. He's getting confirmed. We pretty much know that at this point. They're just doing a dog and pony show to make it look like they have some sort of impact on proceedings. Because right now, the Democrats have no impact on anything.
And we come back to my statement that at least a portion of the Republican Party has been acting as controlled opposition, because if you look at all of Obama's and Biden's appointees, a whole lot of them were just, rubber stamp, get on out.
Yep. Kind of like what the Treasury Department's been doing with payment requests.
Pretty much.
Just, you want some money? Okay, that's fine. Want any more? I got another stack of 20s over here. That just feels like that's what's been happening. Give it a year. If they stop all of this, if they make this go away, give it a year, and then let's look and see how things are. We should be able to notice just very visibly and very plainly a difference between last year and next year, I would think. I'm being hopeful here. I could also wind up being horrifically disappointed.
Well, if you need any more evidence that the tides are turning and times are changing, it's now being reported that Carl's Jr., the Hardee's people, are bringing back bikini-clad models for their Super Bowl commercial.
Well, there you go. America. We need more America. What's that? We don't have enough now with Trump? Oh, no. We just barely got the America motor cranked up. It was a pull start, and I'm pretty sure it had frozen. But it's going good now. It's hitting on all cylinders. That's going to do it. Sale of Champions. Thanks so much to Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation, Gray Daniels Ford. Appreciate them having us out here because I enjoy this every single year because I get to watch these young people and realize just how much more I could have done with my life. Have a great day. We'll do this again tomorrow morning. I'll see you at 10:06. My friend, I'll see you then.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.